Has anyone here ever worked with stone or in a cemetery?
Great.
I worked a little bit one summer in Nova Scotia, and these things are heavy. I mean, these things are so heavy. You know, these markers.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of guys in each corner. 6, 7 guys to be able to lift up one of those. Those are really heavy. There's a lot of weight right here.
The months over the years. I can see it. I don't know when.
Okay, our most famous. He gets his own flag. You know, he's got to be famous, eh?
British.
He's got to be famous. He gets a Union Jack. Now, you might like this, the Scottish flag. So here's the grave of Colonel James MacLeod, founder of Calgary, with F Troop. So those pictures you see of on the horse, the early Calgary, with the natives and starting up the first fort. That's our founder, Colonel MacLeod. From Calgary, Scotland. That's where he's from. So he named the fort after his hometown in Scotland. So that's why we're called Calgary. Isle of Skye, a little island off of the mainland in Scotland.
Need to break it?
This is history.
Yeah.
Picture for me, please. For my children, my grandchildren.
You name your grandchildren Calgary.
Yeah.
Last person.
I'm done with it. So
How
my
rich you are, ma'am?
Pardon?
How rich you are?
Very much. Very
Oh,
rich.
then you start paying me, right? That's
Ray, I
great.
think it's interesting.
On the 30th.
Well, the personal photographer.
Exactly.
Third daughter,
Exactly, yeah.
where she came from and what year, where
She
she
is.
was born.
I forgot my camera.
Quite a story of her life
What
right
do you say
there.
about me?
So here's Colonel MacLeod. So he's born in the Isle of Skye. He later became a judge in Calgary. He was
Thank you.
He the guy who first really met the natives
Celebrity.
here. You know, the different Confederacy of Blackfoot and whatnot. And he became a judge, and thank heavens for that, because he's one of the first people to have contact with the natives in Calgary area. That although he was this quintessential empire, he's the colonel, founded Calgary, he was the judge. He really went to bat for native. I don't like to use the word rights. That's too strong a word back then. He was the one really who pushed the native lands, the Tsuut'ina Nation, the land for the Tsuut'ina.
Yeah.
He made sure that they got good land. There's too many reservation states in Canada. When the natives were giving a piece of property, they were really given leftover something.
Lousy stuff.
Colonel MacLeod was very adamant that the Tsuut'ina Nation and other groups received in the Morleys good hunting ground, good farming ground. There was good lumber on those reservations, so they could actually make hopefully a living or a future for themselves. Now, whether or not that worked out is debatable, but he sort of went to bat for them. Although he was the ultimate, we'll call him the ultimate empire racist still. We use that word. You know, it's really a word you can use almost, because he really believed in that white man's burden. We're here to, you know, we're white, we're British, we're Christian, we're bringing this culture to these other people.
These uncivilized people
Exactly.
who need our help
Yeah.
and guidance.
Again, you have to get your mind in the
That's
in
what
the
they
times.
thought.
They were the most uncivilized people.
I hear your British accent here. Going back, you're guilty of all this. You're guilty. Okay. They came out, found the fort. They thought the fort wouldn't last. They actually got lost. That's why they built the fort there. They were at the. They thought they were a bit further south.
Really? That's a different scenario.
Yes. There's
That's unbelievable.
especially the families here. You have to remember, it's also families still visit here too.
And it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And safety
So
for people
they were
walking.
actually lost when
Yeah.
they found Calgary. They thought they were a little bit further south, and they found Calgary. They thought Calgary wouldn't last very long, the Fort Calgary. Traditionally in Alberta, until they built the railway, what today is Fort Macleod, it was thought that the railway at first was said to go through Fort Macleod, not Calgary. And Fort Macleod today would be what Calgary is. So when you think of southern Alberta, the big city here, it would have been where Fort Macleod is. And Calgary would have been another spot,
Along
probably
the
a
river.
mid-sized town or city along the way to Edmonton. Another thing to remember at this time is Calgary's just a backwater. There's nothing here. There's nothing. There's no reason for white people to be here. It wasn't farmed. It wasn't ranched. And all the European settlement was in the North Edmonton because the early value was fur trading and lumber, things like that, minerals. Think of gold, mineral, especially fur trading. Until you get to the boreal forest where the natives are, Dene Indians. So you get from Ontario, from the Huron, the Ojibwe, the Cree, the Denes. That's where the British and the French came across, was the north. It wasn't the prairies. There was really nothing here other than the buffalo. And so these are the first white guys to come into this part of North America and establish any type of fort whatsoever. Everything was really Fort Edmonton up north. I think he's amazing. He finds Calgary, born in a little Scottish village called Calgary. His wife, I think, is even more amazing to me. Here, she comes out, her husband, no, let's put it this way, let's take his grandchildren for a second. Let's say he has grandchildren, which he does. Or children, let's just say children. Their father is the founder of Calgary. Their mother is one of the original founders of Winnipeg, Fort Garry. So you got both sides. You got Calgary. Just imagine it's like you're a child back, 50 years ago. Oh, my father found Calgary. How about your grandmother or your mother? Oh, she was one of the original settlers of Winnipeg. You've heard of the Red River Red River settlers?
Very famous settlement.
Yeah. Well, she's the daughter of one of the earliest Red River settlers in Winnipeg, Fort Garry. So she helped to she's a little girl finding this city out here because Winnipeg. She ends up marrying the Northwest Mounted Policeman who eventually finds Calgary. And I don't know where it is, but apparently two of her sisters, their graves are within sight of this tombstone also. So you can see three of the sisters are all buried somewhere here, who were born in the Red River settlement near Winnipeg.
First, she had the life experience
Ah.
and knowledge to be able to probably, benefit him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be able to go off and do something new was not going to be so scary to her as it might to be someone else.
So her father literally arrived with a cart. They pulled their carts, the Red River carts, to Winnipeg. They set up their farms. Again, maybe for whatever reason, then this handsome colonel comes along, or member of the military police, and she marries. Said, "Where are we going?" "Oh, this brand new place." What's there? Absolutely nothing. But we'll call it Calgary. I find that just remarkable, just that very concept. And it's really not that long ago. We're not talking ancient history.
But people with a common adventuresome spirit, right? I mean, they had to have that.
Well, you think of Mary Isabel, you think of Colonel McLeod, you think of Livingston, you think of where are these people? Just their personality. They must have been real, I guess, bastards at the time. They must have been real, that's Donald Trumps of their time, I think.